little 9-year-old boy in our neighborhood, and his little brother, I guess he was about 8, came down, and I was sitting out front just lapping up the sun, and they came up and they said, "When's your broken leg going to get healed?" And I said, "I don't have a broken leg." And they said, "Well, what's the matter?" And I said, "Well, I broke my neck and I'm paralyzed." And they said, "Well, when are you going to get up and walk?" And I said, "Well, I'm not. I'm in a wheelchair, and this is the way it's going to be this way from now." And they said, "Oh, come on, walk." And I said, "No, really, I can't." They said, "Oh, come on, try." And I finally convinced them. They just couldn't comprehend the fact that I was in a wheelchair, not like everybody else.
That a broken neck would keep your legs from working.
It was really crazy, but it helps me to be around people and not sit behind walls, because once you start sitting behind the walls and you don't get out and meet people or talk to anybody, then you're in a world of your own, and it's all a handicapped world, And once you get out and meet people, you realize that there's nothing different. It didn't scare me like I thought it would. I thought for a while. Well, of course, when I first got in the hospital over there, a fellow that was 2 beds from me was completely paralyzed. He could move his eyes, and that's it. And I don't know, I was feeling kind of low, but I'd look over at him, and he looked at me and winked. And just kind of a hello, I guess he was saying, or something, I don't know, but it made me feel a million times better.
Actually, for the first number of months, our primary interest was to keep Rick alive, and the paralyzed part didn't even, it entered into it, but that wasn't our primary consideration. Our primary consideration was to keep him alive. And then as he began to improve, slowly he adapted himself to his situation. So it wasn't just an overnight thing. He was in the hospital how long, Rick?
6, 7 months.
7 months, and so with the people around him in the same situation, when he came out, he was pretty well adapted.
When he first came home, we were a little bit afraid to do some of the things that we'd always done, but not anymore. Things are pretty much the same as they were. Well, we don't go out to eat as much because it's a little bit more of an effort to go, so I've had to sharpen up on my cooking skills again. I'd sort of gotten out of the habit of that. You can't always arrange your furniture where it might look the prettiest, and I am, interior decorating is my hobby, so this was a little bit of a handicap in trying to arrange furniture. You have to always keep a path and a place where Ricky can sit and enjoy the things that you do, TV and the fireplace and these, and so you have to arrange things a little differently. But
well, the floor has to be all one level.
Right. The main thing is to be sure that Rick's wheelchair will go down the hall easily, and that the doors are wide enough for it to go through with a minimum of remodeling. In this house, we did have to do a little bit. John did. This was his job. But these are the primary things, and to have a traffic pattern.
So then too, we have to put up ramps. I don't know if you noticed or not, we have ramps at the back.
A diving accident out at Possum Kingdom Lake. We were out in a boat, and the motor conked out, and I decided I was going to dive off the boat and grab hold of the rope and pull us into shore. And we were already into shore, and I didn't realize it, dove into about 2 foot of water. They thought I was kidding around at first, and then when they realized I wasn't, they dove in the water and pulled me into the boat. About 4 hours later, the ambulance finally got there, and they took me to the hospital. This is the Northeast campus here, Tarrant County Junior College. They have parking right over here for wheelchair people that drive their own cars, and it's a great help because they don't have ramps getting in from the parking lot into the regular part of the campus. We're lucky this time they have a parking space open. I can see it from here. TCJC is an organization that is out to help the handicapped. It's called the Service Center for Opportunities to Overcome Problems. It's called SCOOP. And we come out here to check on the scoop organization down here at TCJC. They're selling our mixed nuts, helping us get some funds. We donate the money we get from the mixed nuts, we donate to organizations such as Scoop. They're trying to get up enough money to get an electric wheelchair, and we come out here and make sure that everything's going all right, and supply them with any nuts if they run short. Don Sharp was talking about he was going to go to school. He might come out here, and I was wondering if y'all had the pushers and everything for an extra student.
Yes, we can get them,
You have enough?
We have, and they have the service corps out here also that helps us along this line.
Are they volunteers? Or
Yes.
Brought you another case of nuts. Glad to see y'all are selling so many. We need all the money you can get us.
After Christmas, we'll be hauling for some more.
How y'all doing on the wheelchair? You get enough money?
We're doing real good. We've gotten $245.
Good God, that's
And
fantastic.
we need about $350 to $400. That's wholesale. Johnny knows someone that's gonna help.
Yeah, the money the National Paraplegic Foundation gave you, you've already paid us back by selling so many. We might give you some more.
Okay, good. We'll sell some more nuts.
There you go. When do you think the president, what's his name? The president here?
Dr. Anthony?
Dr. Anthony, when do you think we can get him in a wheelchair and take a survey, tour the campus?
Oh, I don't know. Probably maybe the first of the year.
Yeah, when the weather gets a little bit better. That'd be all right. I want to get him out there and show him what it feels like.
We got him down to where he's pretty well self-sustaining. He can do anything he wants to without our help. His car is rigged up so he can drive it. He can get in and out of it, come in the house, go out without any help from us.
Well, and for like if I don't get to come home at lunch, because a lot of times our day isn't scheduled. If a customer comes in unexpectedly or something, well, Rick can we keep TV dinners in the freezer, and he can do this himself without any trouble, or fix sandwiches, or he even does the laundry if necessary, which is great. And really, you do just most everything, don't you, that you've done before. A few things that maybe you can't do, like open a jar if the lid's too tight or something. That's about all.
Reaching the top cabinets, that's a problem. The other night I came in pretty late, they were already in bed, and I wanted to make a sandwich, and the jelly was on the very top. Well, I was grabbing coat hangers and everything else, and I finally hooked it, and you have to pull it and then catch it because you can't really reach it. But it's not too difficult. When I first got hurt, about 2.5 years ago, wasn't anything to do, and looked in the paper one day, and they had a ad in there about the National Paraplegic Foundation was starting a chapter down here, and I called them up and went over to their first meeting. It wasn't much, but it did let me know that somebody was trying to get handicaps out into the world and meet other handicaps and other people and start some type of social life. And so I went out there, and after a while we finally got up kind of enough nerve, I guess you could say, to start a fundraising project, and we sold mixed nuts, and that's still going on a little bit, but we made enough money to where we can buy some stickers for buildings so that handicaps can drive up and see if the building's accessible or not, instead of having to get out of the car and find out themselves. The main problem with people is after they get hurt, they feel like society just wants to throw them out, and they won't get out, won't talk to anyone except their own family, and very little of that sometimes. Oh, I spent about 7 months in the hospital, and different hospitals, one in Dallas and the other in Memphis, Tennessee. And after I finally got out and came home, there just wasn't anything to do. I didn't have a car, and even if I had one, I didn't have any place to go. And we just moved up here to Fort Worth not too long after, not too much earlier than when I got hurt, and so I didn't really know anyone up here. But after a while, I was reading an article in one of the magazines about a fellow that wrote an article for
newspaper in his hometown for the handicap, kind of like an Ann Landers type deal. And so I called up Fort Worth Star Telegram. They put me in touch with Jack Tinsley, and I talked to him, and he asked me to send in a couple of samples. And I wrote them up, sent them in, and he accepted them, told me I could write it once a month for a while and see how it worked out. And so started writing and got a pretty good response off of it.
I've met a lot of people that stare, you know, and think, what's wrong with him? And usually when I see somebody like that, I'll just say, I broke my neck. I'll just tell them, because I can tell what they're thinking, you know, you accept it. But the family came home, and there wasn't any difference. Mother and dad were scared of certain things. I'd want to do this, and they think, now you sure you can, you know, like get in the car. They were afraid that if I ever had a flat tire, what in the world would I do, you know, and stuff like that. It hadn't happened yet, and I'm still wondering what I will do. But